Hello everybody and welcome back to another anti-MLM video. I'm Christine, I'm glad you're here. Today we will take a look at a top distributor in the network marketing company Arbonne and why she chose to join Arbonne years ago. I find this interesting for various reasons. There's one specific topic I especially want to address when we get there in the live. She was on Instagram and spoke about why Arbonne was such a great opportunity for her and why it might be potentially a great opportunity for you as well. This will not be a long intro. Let's get right into the Instagram live. I will pause it as we go along, share my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts as well if you want to down in the comment section. Let's get into this Instagram live. Why she chose Arbonne years ago.
We're live. You know your voice does that? Why does that happen? Okay, I just went on my stories and talked about how I feel like I need to do more on the fly lives. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I probably should have got myself water because I've been talking for an hour. Hi, you guys that are jumping on. Thanks so much for jumping on. Okay, so what I want to talk about is why I chose to start a business with Arbonne. Because it's been just over 7 years. And when I gained clarity the other night, it was like, I need to go so hard into sharing Arbonne again with people, because sometimes I feel like I never want my page to be all about that, because there's so much more to me than the fact that I have a network marketing business with Arbonne. Okay, cool. I have a business with Arbonne, but I care about so much more than that. And that's part of the reason I have my podcast and I share other things and I share other content, because I care about way more than just my business. However, I also know the value in my business and the value that it can provide and give others who are looking to make a change in their life. And so when I just put on my stories, I want to do more on the fly lives. I was like, this is something I need to talk about, and I'm just going to do it right now and get it over with and put it out there and not overthink content so much. Like, if you guys are content creators and you're trying to show up on Instagram, I first just want to say, stop overthinking it. Like, literally, just when you have a thought, here's one tip, even before I get into Arbonne, is if you're trying to create content and you're trying to put stuff out there, what I do, if I'm in the moment, like I'm driving or I'm in the shower, I'm doing something that I can't actually go film or record or do what I want to do, what I will do, also, do you guys get itchy ears from AirPods? If you haven't stopped using AirPods, please stop, because they literally burn holes in my ears. I've switched back to the cord ones. Anyway, something that I do is I have a note in my phone for all of my content ideas. So things that I can't film or do in the moment, I will put in a note so that I can come back to it and make it later. But I'm trying to get way better at imperfect, just like push it out, pump it out, get it out there. Because what I find is in the moment that I'm hit with inspiration to do something, then by the time I go do it, it's past, and it like doesn't hit as much as it did in that moment. And I feel like there is something with frequency behind the way you put out content, or the way you put out a message, or the way you do it. And I think this comes with like a text message, this comes with anything that you do with people, right? Like I really feel our frequency is transferred through our phones. And so it's like, if I'm feeling super excited about something and I put out that content, regardless if it hits for other people, I feel like I feel good about it and I'm excited about it. But if I wait sometimes and I do it like 2 weeks later, it doesn't hit anymore, because it was like meant to be put out in that moment. Do you get what I'm saying? So like, stop overthinking it and just put it out as it hits, because yeah, no one cares about perfection anymore on this app. Anyways, I feel like people like to see things that are really real.
That is true, but an audience also cares if you can bring your point across well. So if you're on the live, if you do live streams, or if you're on Instagram live, you also need to be a good speaker and you need to have your thoughts kind of in check. And I've reacted to a podcast of hers as well. She can be all over the place. I mean, just this intro, the first 3 minutes, it was all over the place. Oh, by the way, do you wear earpods? Well, they burned holes in my ears, so I stopped doing this. When I have thoughts, when I'm in the car and the shower, I cannot film, but I really want to do things more on the fly. But I make notes in my phone, and then I will release the content afterwards, and not 2 to 5 weeks afterwards. But we're here to listen to her, why she started Arbonne years ago, but now she wants to put out so much more content. She is so much more connected to that now, and she wants to do that, pitch Arbonne a lot harder than she did before, because she feels that on her Instagram she didn't do a lot lately, and she spoke about so many other things because she has so many other interests. But also, I would argue, because it's highly unattractive if every post of yours is about the network marketing company you're in, the products you sell, the business opportunity. Who will watch that? Most people will not watch that. If you're an influencer or a content creator and every single piece of content that you release is connected to somebody selling something, an affiliate link, a sponsorship, pushing products you yourself might sell, you yourself might have created, it's just not that interesting. And she is already all over the place within the first 3 minutes. Focus on your task. Show me your personality. Yes, that is great, but also get your point across. So 3 minutes in, and we haven't heard yet about Arbonne, why she joined some 7 years ago. But what I find interesting with her is that she did do a lot of other things. She had this boo-woo, elevate yourself, find your inner higher power, your feminine power, babu. For me, this is bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Full transparency. I cannot use those kind of podcasts. I have no clue what people are talking about. They don't bring across their point very well, in my opinion, as well. All in an effort to elevate other people, other women. But you're not telling me why you want to elevate me when I don't necessarily feel I need to be elevated by you just because you're another woman. You don't have anything specific to say, but you have something to sell. And I believe that she has a lot of side things. You can also access them via her Instagram, and she tries to sell her audience on something. There are a lot of things in her link tree where I do not know if she monetizes these. Her podcast doesn't seem to be that huge. It doesn't seem like that blew up and she's able to monetize it well, or that she has sponsorships or product placements or ad reads on that one. So that seems to be a passion project or a potential business opportunity that didn't result in her making a lot of money. She tries to give people information on how to educate their children outside of the regular school system. She asks for how much the people spend on their children or how much they're able or willing to spend. I do not know if that includes her giving people tips or if she wants to take money for that purpose. To my knowledge, she is not a professional educator. And if you're not a professional educator, you should stay away from trying to educate your audience about their children. Some of the videos that I really like to watch when it comes to the educational process, at least in the United States, is Hannah Alonso, because she has a degree in teaching. She is able to share a lot of information and background information I personally find really interesting when it comes to that topic. I always find it dangerous when people really completely venture out of what they can actually do, what they actually learned. If you're not a medical professional, if you're not a professional educator, then please do not do these things. If you're not a doctor, then don't give me information on my physical ailings. People in network marketing companies who sell health and wellness products, supplements, as she does, she also falls into that trap, I believe. They easily overstep boundaries and give information that can be super damaging and dangerous. But she tried to make other things happening besides Arbonne. And that's why I find it interesting that she's now back to Arbonne. She also tries to sell classes or courses or trainings. I believe that that is not working out that well. You can see on the side the different things that she offers. Not everything is monetized, but I believe in a day and age where a lot of people struggle, also those in network marketing companies who try to create side hustles because sales is down, especially selling luxury products, luxury adjacent products that are not necessary, like protein powders or energy drinks. Those are not necessities at all. She is in that industry as well. On top of that, in a very sketchy network marketing company, because most people in network marketing companies lose money, and that is now widespread, like content like this on social media. And a lot of people don't fall for that necessarily, or don't want to give products a try that are connected to a network marketing company. And then those people, even when they're at the top, and she's at the top rank in Arbonne, even those people will feel that. We're in a recession, sales don't come in easily, people don't have a lot of money to spend, especially on products that are not a necessity, they'd rather cut that out, and then people try to get into side ventures. That's also an upcoming video at some point, because I find it interesting what network marketers who were formerly successful in their network marketing company, what they're doing now in order to make an income. And she ventured into this teaching courses, classes thing. And I think that most of those things probably didn't work out. And that's why now she has to focus on Arbonne again, try to sell the products, recruit the people. That is just what I believe. But it looks like she's now going to focus more on selling Arbonne because the other things didn't necessarily work out, and she needs to create an income to pay for her life and also for her children's life.
Okay, so I wanted to share about why I started a business with Arbonne and why I still feel like it's so genius to start a business today. And for those of you who are jumping on, so I started 7 years ago. I'm going to be hiccuping too, by the way, because I've been drinking fizz and then I don't have enough water, and this is just my life. See, I said I was going to do it on the fly, and now you're getting the side of me that's kind of like, you probably should have got water and taken a break. Anywho, I started my Arbonne business 7 years ago. How I started my business, I was introduced from a stranger on the internet. She found my page on the Explore feed, and it was one of my posts went semi-viral back then. I didn't have a big following. It was just like one of my posts. It was a comparison of pregnancy, like my body before being pregnant and my body after. And it popped up on her Explore feed, and she started following me. We connected. She ended up telling me about Arbonne almost like a year later. I heard an overview of it, and I was kind of like, yeah, sounds cool. Sounds great. You can make money. That's amazing. But just like not for me. I had just had a baby, Daxton at the time. He was 2 months old. And I was like, I'm just like happy chilling. I'm going to enjoy my mat leave. I'm going to like rot on the couch watching Ellen reruns all day. And for the first time in my life, not feel the need to do something or be productive. And I held to that. Like that was something that I wanted for me and for the baby. So fast forward, I find out that I'm pregnant again with a second baby. And I realize a month out from when I'd have to go back to work, so 2 months out technically, that I can't claim mat leave a second time. And I'm like, oh shit, like I better think of another option, because there's no way I'm going back and getting 600 hours to claim mat leave for a second time, because this baby is going to be coming, and there's just no way. And it's not something I'm willing to do. Like, I don't want to put my 10-month-old baby in daycare, and I don't want to be hustling in my last, couple months of pregnancy to go get enough hours to be able to claim mat leave. Like, that's just not something I want to do. And so in that, I decided, okay, I'm not going to do that. I made the choice and I made the decision, which is available to all of you at all times. Like, be firm and make decisions that are best for you. I chose that I wasn't going to go do that. I wasn't going to go back to work. I was going to extend my leave without pay and figure out another option. And so 7 years ago, I was still doing personal training, and I had a nutrition business. If you guys have been here since then, hi. But that's what I used to do full time. So I was personal training. I was doing pre and postnatal fitness. I was teaching people about nutrition. I was doing macro coaching. LOL, big LOL on that one. Not that it's not important, but the person I am today, I can't imagine like macro coaching with people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've just changed so much. So anyways, that's what I did back then. And I remember being like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this Arbonne thing, and I'm going to see if it's something that I could be into, because she was sharing that the products would align with me, that I would love it. She was sharing the standards behind it. And I was kind of like, you know what? Like, let's just give this thing a try, because I knew the amount of money you could make. And even though I believed in myself, I had my own business, I had started coaching, I was doing well, I was getting clients, like, that was fine. But I also knew that one-to-one business wasn't going to be the way of the future. Oh my God, props, hi. I just saw your thing pop on. Anyways, I knew that one-to-one coaching, she was one of my first coaching clients, actually. I'm just talking about when I used to be a fitness coach, and that was what I was doing full time. And you remember when I made you puke? Crazy. Anyways, in terms of my business back then, I just knew, I'm like, even though I loved working with clients one-on-one and I loved helping people, there was no like scalability in that. Like, I was about to have two babies, guys, 11 months apart. And I was like, there's just no way that I'm going to be able to be getting up at 4 a.m. and running to the gym and like working my business the same way I did as a single person without kids. Like, it was just going to be different. And so I saw the value of what Arbonne could provide, in the sense that I could still build my own business. I could still do it around my own schedule. I could still build it on my own time. I could still do it how I wanted. And I had the flexibility to do that in a way that fit my life and my schedule, where, if you guys have been personal trainers, you know this, like, you also need your hours to be available for when other people want to train and when other people want to meet with you. And I was just like, I don't want my life and schedule right now in the midst of two babies to be about someone else's life and schedule. Does that make sense? And so I, again, decided to choose myself. And I was like, this is not something I want to pursue right now. I'm going to put it on the back burner. And it's always there for me if I want to come back to that and if this Arbonne thing doesn't work out. But in the meantime, I'm going to trust this random lady on the internet that's telling me that I would be good at this, that's telling me that, hi Holly, that's telling me that I would be good at this business, that's telling me that I'm going to like these products, that I have seen go get her Benz, that I've seen stay at home with her babies.
So many red flags already. A stranger reaches out on social media and tells me I can be good at something. I have no clue what it is, but amazing products would align with my philosophy. And I had the need to stay at home with 2 babies, and I couldn't pursue my former career the way I could now because life changes, yes. And there should be a lot more support for single parents and for parents in general, especially if I don't know if she will go into this, but she got a divorce from her husband, is now solely taking care of her children. That is stressful. And that is where network marketing companies come into play. Now, granted, I think she was still married when this random person on social media pitched her and said, do Arbonne. There was a need for something. There was a lack, and that's where network marketing companies come in. I find it highly, highly irresponsible for somebody 7 years into Arbonne to now in 2025 say it's good. I want to share with you why I did Arbonne and why it is still a good thing to do for you. To tell people, come on over, let's do this. In a day and age where network marketing companies are drowning. Just because you do network marketing predominantly now on social media doesn't mean that you're in social media or that you are a content creator. You need to utilize social media to be able to make an income. And I find it highly irresponsible. Somebody who joined years ago who was able to benefit because of her career in fitness, because of her physique, because of the way she presents herself on social media, and because of her good timing joining a network marketing company, aka joining before the pandemic, where people were literally doing this without the network marketers having to pitch a whole lot to them, making the most ridiculous product claims because people were afraid that they would get sick. To say what I did years ago is something that you can still do, was a good idea back then, it is a great idea now, and I will tell you why. I find that highly irresponsible, predatory, and there is a complete lack of reality. But let's continue with her pitch.
And I'm going to just trust her for a minute and give this a shot. And so I ended up deciding to start an Arbonne business. That was September of, I don't even know, 2018. And so what I did was I talked to her about the business. And if you guys have never heard an Arbonne overview and you're curious and you're watching my live, send me a DM and I would be happy to jump on a phone call with you, send you some voice notes, actually explain the logistics behind it. Because I think a lot of people can kind of feel like, isn't that a pyramid scheme? Network marketing, right? Like we've all heard this before. The thing that I always say to that is, first of all, I didn't know what those things were. So when I was introduced to it, I didn't even know people felt that way about it. So I had no preconceived notions. Like I truly just felt like, okay, like this company, the products seem aligned, like everything's vegan and non-toxic and cruelty-free and follows the European standard. And that's something that I love because at the time I was making all of my own products. Like I was literally that hippy dippy that I was like, I'm going to buy my own shea butter. I'm going to buy my own beeswax. I'm going to buy my own cacao butter, like jojoba oil, or whatever the hell it was. And I like would buy these ingredients and make my own stuff because I didn't want the carcinogenic ingredients that were in typical products at the store. And so I was getting sick of it though. Like it was annoying, like to make it all. I didn't enjoy it. I was like, my life is crazy. I have 2 babies. Like it's too busy. I don't want to do this. And so when I found that Arbonne kind of aligned with all of that, right? Like it didn't have carcinogenic ingredients and it didn't have hormone disruptors and it followed the European standard where they ban over 2,000 ingredients of harmful crap. I was like, okay, I can feel good about this. Like,
as somebody who's located in Europe, I am over those we follow European standard claims. But I get that she was in a phase where she wanted to do everything herself. I also went through that phase at some point and I meal prepped everything and I cooked everything, got everything fresh here and there. And then at some point I just thought, you're really taking this way, way, way too far. And granted, I never did my own candles. You cannot trust me with hot liquids and I need to pour it over something. I would burn the frick out of myself and my home and everybody around me very likely. But I also went that route. I need to create everything myself. I need to invest time in furthering my life and bettering my life in different aspects than she did. I was never afraid of the toxins and everything and that they were going to kill me. But I also went through a phase where I thought, you know what? I will make pizza from scratch every single time I want to have a pizza. Guess what? 3 years later, I didn't do that anymore, and that's completely fine. There are frozen pizzas I like, and there's nothing wrong with me occasionally doing that. But I get the phase that she was in. I just don't understand the step of now I need to join a network marketing company because they're the only ones that are non-toxic and that follow the European standards. And yes, heavy eye roll and heavy sigh whenever I hear these pitches. The European standards, yeah. It is. Get over it. What I find yet again highly irresponsible is there's so many people who might have heard this. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a scam. That is another sign why Arbonne in 2025 will not work the way it did for her. 7 years ago, she was not aware or says she wasn't aware what a sketchy system Arbonne is and why network marketing is so closely connected to pyramid schemes, because the source of income is very closely connected to what happens in pyramid schemes. It's a recruitment-based business and not a sales business based on selling to other people. The bulk of the money of those successful in network marketing lies in recruiting a big team and benefiting off of them and their team pretty much paying them. And then they need to fulfill certain legal requirements as per the compensation plan that the company sets up. She wasn't aware of that years ago, but now in this day and age, there's so much information out why network marketing is bad, and just a stigma on the industry. It's a stigma on those companies, and I love it because even though not every network marketing company out there is legally declared a pyramid scheme, they work and they operate very, very closely connected to that. Because most people in network marketing still lose money. That's a fault within the industry. So now in 2025, there is not only market saturation, I think there is sales fatigue, there is digital fatigue, even though you want to come across as being authentic. The market is saturated in every way, shape, or form when we're talking about health and wellness products, content creators on social media. But then there's also on top of that a lot of information about schemes and scams and why network marketing is not a great business opportunity if you want to make money. Just a little bit, just a side hustle, a little bit of money every once in a while because it's a business model that is bad. So in 2025, to say, I did it 7 years ago, and now I will tell you why I believe it is just as good now, is just extremely irresponsible. And she tells her audience, if you were to actually listen, she tells her audience why now it's not a great opportunity anymore.
I was like, okay, I can feel good about this. Like, this aligns with everything I already believe in, and I'm here for it. And at the time, what's also funny is I went from bodybuilding world to using vegan proteins. And so if you guys remember, I never want to like shit on other brands, but at the same time, like I was using Iron Vegan and Vega, and the texture and the flavor just cannot compare to Arbonne. And so at the time I was like, I'm willing to try a different protein. I'm willing to put it out there and just see if these products are good, because if they are, I know I could build a business with this and help me bring in an income from home to be able to be at home with my babies, because I had already decided I was doing that. Okay. It wasn't like, oh, if this works, I'm going to stay home with it. No, it was like, I'm staying at home with my babies. This is final. And I'm going to find a way to make enough money to make this work.
This is yet again highly irresponsible, but it also shows how people join network marketing companies. I wanted a vegan protein powder that didn't have the gritty texture, and now Arbonne's products doesn't have that. Arbonne's protein powder doesn't have that. It is vegan, so that shows me I can build a business. There's more to building a business than just a non-gritty protein powder. There are so many more things one should consider, and also the financial input, the strategy you have behind this, the market you can pitch to, the reach you have, all of these things, than just, is it a protein powder that works for me? Yes, no, maybe? This could be a business.
That's when Arbonne was entered into my life. And so I ended up trying the products. I fell in love with the protein. I was like, holy, this is the best vegan protein on the market. Like, hands down, you cannot find me a better one. You can't. Maybe you can find one that's like simpler ingredients and like, you know, whatever. But I'm like, I prefer flavor and texture and to actually enjoy it. And so Arbonne's protein is the best vegan protein, hands down. I can attest to that. If you drink whey and other stuff, like maybe you can find one that you like better. But for me personally, I've tried other vegan proteins and I was like, chalk, not good. Tastes like the dirt of the earth. And nothing wrong with the dirt of the earth, but I prefer to have things that taste really good, and Arbonne's protein does. So that sold me on the whole company. Not kidding. I was like, okay, this protein is actually good. She's not lying. She's not fooling me, because I felt a little bit got, right, by the stranger on the internet who's trying to tell me about products and tell me that I could make money. I'm like, dang it. Like, I tried to give her every hesitation. I was like, the products are too expensive. No one's going to buy off me. No one can grow through the comp plan. Who's going to want to buy this? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, she's just trying to counteract possible rebuttals and concerns from her audience now. Nobody in their right mind will start a business and a life-changing career if they believe it is a scam. Come on. I was so worried. There was this random stranger that said it's the best products and I didn't believe it, but then I bought this overpriced protein powder as a customer, but whew, she was right and I joined. That doesn't make logically any sense.
Like, I don't even know. Like, all the hesitations, right? Like, what if I'm not successful? What if it jeopardizes the trust of everyone I built an audience with? What if my clients don't want to hire me anymore? What if my clients lose trust in me because now all of a sudden I'm promoting a product, and like, God forbid I promote a product on my Instagram. Now we're so used to it, like Instagram's used for this, but back then that wasn't the normal. Like, not everyone was promoting products on Instagram back then, where now this is like the normal. We're used to it. But 7 years ago, it was still kind of that influencer era where people might be blogging and posting pictures, but not everyone was selling product. And so that was scary for me. I was like, if I align with one brand, what are people going to think of me? And am I going to lose trust with everybody that I have spent the last few years of my life building trust with? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't believe that. If you run your own business and you are a personal trainer and you have a clientele, you want to be very careful and maybe not pitch certain products. But it is not true that 7 years ago, content creators didn't push affiliate links or connections to companies, especially in the fitness industry, especially when we're talking about supplements for bodybuilders or working out, because I followed a lot of the people back then and they were doing that regularly. Everybody years ago, I still lived in Munich, so it was even longer ago, they started to connect themselves with companies and pitch their supplements. Protein powders, BCAAs, energy drinks, a lot of crap, a lot of workout gear, a lot of workout clothes. Lots of people were affiliated with those people, so that is not truthful. But I understand that you need to be careful if you actually run a business. If you're actually successful at what you do, you have a clientele, you are a personal trainer, you work in this fitness industry, you want to be very careful and you want to be very mindful what you promote to other people. It happened 7 years ago, but maybe promoting products from a network marketing company, that was the hesitation, and not to pitch a vegan protein powder, because that was common 7 years ago. I fell into that trap as well, where I supported sportive influencers, and they actually knew also what they were doing, and I bought a bunch of BCAAs as if that did anything, as if that was of any worth or any value for me actually working out. It wasn't. And I also got an energy, a pre-workout thing, powder. I don't use these things. It doesn't make sense from my perspective, because if I work out, I do that first thing in the morning. Get up, I get a coffee. Guess what is a good energizer? Yeah, coffee, so I didn't need that. I had flavor drops, and I really liked those actually, vanilla flavor drops to have my oats taste more like vanilla, but there are other ways. I bought a specific protein powder, and I also thought that that was the height of what I could do for my own health, because I followed people who lived a life and a lifestyle and who looked a certain part that I found interesting. Now, I wasted money, in my opinion, for products I didn't need, and they were also overpriced for what they were, so that the influencers promoting this could get their share as well. There's nothing scammy and sketchy with that, in my opinion, but I wasted money on products that I didn't need. So I understand it in a way. I fell into that trap, and if you run a business and if you work in that sphere, you need to be careful, especially when you now start to shill MLM products.
And so anyways, that had me all freaked out, but I ended up trying the products and I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Like, if I just at least try this, like at least put effort and time into this and just see, then at least I can feel if this was the right thing for me. And so essentially that's what I did 7 years ago. I tried the products, I shared them with a couple people, and that was kind of like that was it. Like for me to be able to share them with other people and find people who actually enjoyed them and loved them as much as me, I was like, I'm all in. Like I'm going all in on this. And so how I actually started my business was I bought the products for myself. This is so fun actually watching the people jump on. Hi guys. I know it's Thanksgiving weekend in Canada too, but I'm home alone tonight, so I'm doing this instead. Okay, but in terms of, what was I just saying?
I was in Canada last year over Thanksgiving weekend. It was fun.
Now I lost track of my thoughts because I'm watching who's jumping on. What was I just saying? I forgot. How I started building my business. So what I did was I bought the nutrition, I bought the skincare, and I bought the makeup because I was like, I don't want to be some fraud that shows up online and I'm like, these are the best products. And then someone goes, ooh, have you tried the skincare? And I haven't. And then like the skincare burns someone's face off. Like that's what I was afraid of. So I was like, I need to try these things and make sure I actually can use them, actually like them. I have sensitive skin. I wanted to make sure that my skin looked great with it. And so I did, and I didn't have a reaction. I actually loved the makeup. It was super easy for me to swap over from Sephora to Arbonne, which is a huge win because I used to think I needed to do my makeup like Kim Kardashian. So like, obviously times have changed, but that's kind of how I used to do my makeup back then. And the protein and the nutrition products were easy for me to swap from the products that I was already using and buying. So for me, it was a no-brainer in the sense that, okay, if I can easily swap out the products that I'm already using and buying, things like body wash, shampoo, conditioner, foundation, a brow pencil, a mascara, a protein, an energy drink, a greens, like these are all products I was already using at home. And so I was like, if I can swap them to a brand and then make money off of it, that's going to allow me to live the life I actually want to live, is that worth it? Yeah, that felt worth it to me. Like I'm already spending money on all of this shit every single day anyways. Why would I not swap it to a brand that I could feel good about using, for one, and then also share with other people that they could feel good about using, that could actually help them improve their life and their health. And like, it just made sense. I was like, I'm literally spending money on this every single day anyways. I'm going through these grocery store aisles. Now I'm getting real hyped up because I remember the frustration back then going through the grocery store aisles and having to read every single freaking label and being annoyed that it was filled with carcinogenics and carcinogens. Like, I remember reading those labels and being like, oh, this is so overwhelming and frustrating, like putting things down and not knowing what products to buy and the greenwashing and like making it seem like it was good, but it wasn't good. And then you buy the organic clean makeup and then it's like shit and it doesn't go on. And I remember wasting all of this time and money doing this stuff. And I remember sitting there being like, at this point, do I just choose cancer? Like, is this my future? Do I need to just choose the cancer-causing products? Because this is annoying. Like, I'm ready to go back to the Olay Sparkle Lotion because, you know, at least it's working. Even if it's causing harm to my internal system and like overloading me with toxins, like whatever. And so anyways, that was me back then. And I remember finding Arbonne and going, you know what? This is actually like a breath of fresh air for me because now I can go on this website and buy my toothpaste and shampoo and conditioner and hand and body wash and the baby stuff, like the baby lotion and baby wash. Like how frustrating when you go into the baby aisle and it's full of toxic garbage and then they promote it for us to put on our babies. I was like, I can't. And so that was so frustrating to me. So when I found Arbonne, I was like, wait a second, this just made my life so much easier. The same standards apply to every single product. And now I just get to go on here and pick the products that I want and easily order it from this website and have it shipped directly to my house. And now I don't need to spend time being frustrated in the aisles anymore at the grocery store trying to find a product that doesn't cause cancer. So to me, it was amazing. For those of you who don't care about the things that you're putting on your skin, then this may not be for you. But for those of you who do care about the products that you're putting in your body, want to live healthier, want to reduce your toxic load, understand the importance of that, understand the importance that like your skin is your largest organ. And especially as women, we're putting makeup on, we're putting stuff in our hair, we're putting stuff on our skin. This is our detoxifying organ, our body, our skin. And if we're overloading it, first of all, filling all of our pores with crap that's clogging them, then we're putting chemicals on our skin. We're absorbing all of that. Yeah, your body has a detox system. And yes, you have a liver. And yes, you have all of these parts of your body that are going to help flush it out. But you can get overburdened. Why do you think so many women have breast cancer? They're overburdened with toxic load. It gets stored and then it can't get it out fast enough because you're overloading yourself with so many toxins. Okay. That's what causes cancer. That's what causes aging, all of that kind of stuff.
And that is called fear mongering. But by her trying out the Arbonne products, having to love them or having to find the products that are convenient for her toxic, free European standard lifestyle, she already fulfilled her job. She purchased a lot of products. I mean, this was a long-winded way of her saying the products that are available on the market are not great. They don't align with what I want for myself and for my babies. So naturally, I had to buy from a network marketing company because there are no other products and there are no other companies out there who produce products that have similar products, similar ingredients that align with my philosophy. I'm not a fan of fear-mongering, and I do not subscribe to her pitching network marketing products like this. But if you want to live a lifestyle and you want to exclude certain ingredients, that is your prerogative. I doubt that you need to join Arbonne or that you had to join Arbonne 7 years ago to get your hands on products that aligned with your philosophy. Because 7 years ago, you didn't have to go to the grocery store to get the products you mentioned here. You could also do that online. And there are lots of companies available who do, the greenwashing. And I believe Arbonne does as well, because they also have the same claims. But she fell for it and she enjoyed it and she liked it. But now that she is in Arbonne, she has to like the product. She has to purchase the product. It sounded pricey what she bought. Yes, she says she was swapping out the products she used before. So yet again, goal achieved. Skincare products, hair care products, supplement, products for babies. Those are the products she swapped out and she paid a lot for. Arbonne products are pricey. They're pricey because of the claims the company makes that they're superior, plus they're a network marketing company. If you have to pay a whole bunch of Salesforce people who are pretty much not being compensated other than selling a product or recruiting a team, and then you're able to benefit in the overrides for that, then you need to up the price of those products. But how realistic is it that you would look at a company and you would swap out all of the products for this new company if you weren't in that company, if you weren't selling those products? Because she says, I swapped out the products that I bought before for the ones from Arbonne. I liked them, but what about the price point? Well, how about the price tag of the products you purchased before? Makeup in Sephora, was it the same pricing? Was it less pricey? Was it pricier than Arbonne? Or did she potentially now start to pay more for the product and she had to test the different kind of products out and then she can promote the product she actually like? There's a price point attached to these products from Arbonne. So how much did you spend before and how much do you spend now, even as a distributor, if you get those at a discounted price? Network marketing products are pricey, and I believe when people say I'm swapping out these products, they have a certain price tag attached to the product they used before and a higher one later. But it's also a necessity because if you are in a network marketing company, you got to use the products, share your experience, your personal testimonial, like what she just did, is the business driver for those people, for them selling those products, because they cannot make a lot of health claims. They cannot legally say what Arbonne products do, but instead we're leading with testimonials, with our experience, with fear-mongering to cut out the toxins, or otherwise you subscribe to cancer in your life. Get these products that apply with a European standard, and here's the reason why Arbonne is the best company on planet Earth. That is her business pitch. That is the core of her business, to present her life and how these products work. And she has to spend a lot of time and a lot of money on making that happen. And she is the one who got lucky because she got to the top rank in the company and was able to benefit. Whereas most people invest a lot of money in the products and they don't get that in return.
And so if you know that, you're going to be way more mindful of what you're putting on. And if you know about, some people feel like fluoride is good. There's so much out there that shows that it's actually really bad for you. Blocks your pineal gland, blocks your awareness, whatever. Arbonne toothpaste doesn't have fluoride in it, and I love that. I've been using it for 7 years. And I feel like that's really important also, is to be mindful of all of that stuff. Like, there's toxic stuff intentionally put in our products to make us sick. And when you start to understand that, you're going to seek out companies who are not doing that and have your best interest at heart. And that's Arbonne. Do you want to know a fun fact that I found out today? That we source our shea butter from African women farmers, to support them in building businesses and building their farming and whatever. Like, how cool is that? That we're supporting women-based African farmers. I can't even get the words out properly. But like, that's who we choose to source our shea butter from. not like some of these big companies that source it in a way that's completely detrimental to the environment, that's harmful to people, that's exploiting people, that's exploiting the earth. We don't partake in any of that. Like, and that's something else that's really cool about Arbonne. So when you're buying the products from Arbonne, not only are they vegan and non-toxic and cruelty-free and have been that way for 45 years, they're not just jumping on the bandwagon because they're like, oh shit, consumer demand, like we better start caring about this. No, they've been this way for 45 plus years. That's really valuable and really important. In addition to that, like us being B Corp certified, so that just means everything we do is putting people and planet before profit. That sounds pretty conscious and amazing to me.
Yeah, I disagree with that. If you mass produce products, whether you sell them on the free market or in a network marketing model, you're exploiting planet Earth and you're potentially also exploiting humans. You are not a small business where you handcraft certain products, you sell them for the price that they're worth, or you can up the price because there's a high demand, and you sell individual products here or there. If you mass produce, you will ultimately damage the earth and also possibly humans and the way they produce those products. It has to do with the mass production of the products. Whether it's a shea butter that was allegedly sourced ethically in Africa and supports African women and their small businesses and their lifestyle or not. If you have to produce a certain amount of products for what I would suspect is predominantly their very own excited sales force, then you're also contributing to that cycle. It's capitalism at its core. And to claim that this is more ethical when you run a network marketing company where most people lose money, we will also take a look at the Arbonne income disclosure statement later for Canada, where she is. That's very hypocritical, I would say. Because yeah, surprise, most people in Arbonne Canada also don't make a lot of money. So you're exploiting humans within your own company.
And if you're in the conscious community and you care, like you're in a community of people who you believe are conscious and intentional, that matters and that's exciting. I know, isn't that so cool? I love it. It's so awesome about the supporting women farmers in Africa. Like I freaking love that for the shea butter. Anyways, so in terms of being B Corp certified, we're putting people and planet before profit. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it means we're doing everything ethically and sustainably. If you have any level of awareness about life, like that matters. If you care about the earth, if you care about people, if you care about humanity, like you want to be supporting companies who care about people and planet before profit and who actually have the integrity to do things ethically and sustainably.
I don't disagree with that, but it's ironic coming from somebody in a network marketing company that is not ethical and that juices their own distributors to the max. If she were in a company that was thriving and that was building wealth on the detriment of most of their own distributors, then I would say, yes, I agree. It gives you a good feeling. I still think there is a lot of whitewashing and a lot of greenwashing and a lot of cleanwashing that is happening. But to claim you do something good if you buy from Arbonne because we support women in Africa is ridiculous, because you apparently do not support women, in this case in Canada, who lose money thanks to Arbonne. By telling them this is a great business opportunity, come in, buy a bunch of products, sell them, you can be successful too. Now, 7 years after I did it. Although all of the odds and all of the statistics, information from Arbonne as well, speaks against that. Make it make sense.
That matters a lot, because there's a lot of companies out there who are not doing anything ethically or sustainably, and it's really, really horrendous if you look into that. It's destroying environments, it's destroying kids, like it's horrible. And so when you look for the B Corp certification, because it's not just Arbonne, you can find other companies that do this, but being B Corp certified, what it means is basically, like an example of that would be like, okay, we're not sourcing from a place where it's detrimental to the environment. Like we're never going to do that. We also aren't going to support slave labor or child labor. Lots of your companies that you buy from are still doing that. And, you know, I'm all for kids learning to work and stuff, but like in horrible working environments, no. And a lot of these companies, they don't give a shit and they will do that. So let's say we're sourcing from a third world country where you could still do that. You can get away with it. Legally, you can get away with it. You could get away with child labor and slave labor, okay? We won't do that. We won't. Being B Corp certified proves that we're not going to do that. We're not going to cut corners. We are legally bound to that. And every single year they audit us to make sure we're upholding those standards. That's huge. So that's just some of the stuff about the products and the standards behind the company, which I think really, really matter. Because if you were ever going to do something with a company and you're going to choose to align yourself with a brand, You need to feel that the values behind the company align with you.
Ironic yet again, coming from somebody in a network marketing company. I've heard other people describe network marketing as modern day slavery. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that terminology because slaves were not paid, but the idea behind that comparison is, and I think Roberta Blevins said that already years ago, if you take a look at how much money women specifically in network marketing companies make, they make less than women in prisons somewhere in Russia. You could consider that modern day slavery. If most people in your company make barely anything or lose money, then that is not then that is not a good company. So to put attention on the company because allegedly they source their ingredients and their products so ethically and they support people in Africa is a way to deflect from the bad business model it is. When you pay your own people hardly anything because they struggle to sell the products and the business opportunity, and those who can, who might make a little bit of revenue here or there, they very likely have higher expenses and therefore end up in debt. So while I don't subscribe to this slavery comparison because it doesn't make logically any sense, you're exploiting women, specifically in this case in Canada, because they will not see a profit. And to say that this is a great company, if you want to be ethical, so that I can make money is just extremely predatory, as is the core of network marketing, in my opinion. It's a predatory system. And all of these things are sideshows, I think, to deflect from how bad of a company this really is. We work together with charities. Every network marketing company also has those claims. We work together with World Vision and we build waterways in Africa. A lot of those companies love to focus their intentions on Africa and charitable efforts there, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing to be charitable and also to support people in Africa. Absolutely, don't say that. But why do you not support the people in your own country by offering them a really bad business opportunity? That is the hypocrisy of MLMs and also of those pitching these, at least of those who are immersed in this cult or who are at the top of the corporate ladder and who want to make an income.
And so those things really do matter. Okay. Next thing I just want to share before I go through kind of a little bit of the business side of things and how that works is essentially the types of products that we have. It's like bath and body care. So things like, your, like I said, shampoo, conditioner, bath, body wash, soaps, all that kind of stuff. We do toothpaste, we do makeup, we do skincare, we do nutrition. So we do all of that. And the whole philosophy with Arbonne is like, we want to help you have a mind, body, spirit connection that's just healthier. So through the products that you're using, putting on your skin, taking into your body, all of that. Okay. And we also want to make your life easier. So the nutrition products are all designed to make you healthier. For example, our protein, it's not just protein. It has a multivitamin included because we want you to get more nutrition in your life and make it easier for you. We know life is busy. So if you're going to take our greens and our fizz, for example, and then have our protein, like it's giving you almost a full nutrition profile of what you're needing in your daily vitamin intake of what you need. Does that make sense? So the micronutrients, macronutrients you're needing, we take a look at that and incorporate that in all of our products.
Yeah, that's bullshit. There's nothing wrong with having some vitamins in a protein powder or having a fizz energy powder that you mix with water to energize you or to take those horrible greens. I don't prescribe to that. No, you will not see me take any of these, in my opinion, unnecessary supplements. I do take the things that I know are lacking in my life or the things that elevate my food, like my oats in the morning. I always have a scoop of protein powder because having a certain amount of protein in your diet is good and is important. And I do have a good amount of protein in my diet. I'm good. And I add protein powder, vanilla whey protein powder in the morning because it makes my oats taste like vanilla. That's why I do that. Sometimes take vitamins as well. I currently take magnesium, sometimes iron. But it is important to understand what your body actually needs and what your body is lacking. Otherwise, you're overloading your pocket financially and also your body with a gazillion side ingredients you might not need. If you do not lack vitamins, if you do not lack iron or magnesium in your diet, you don't need to add it. Then you could just take a product that helps you with whatever you need to supplement in your diet, because hopefully you also eat, and also hopefully you have a certain diet that allows you to get the needs in your diet every single day. However you cook, whatever you like there. It is not just supplements feeding you and pills feeding your body. So that's why, yet again, it is a very strange pitch, and it is idiocracy, in my opinion, to say we have this and it gives you an almost full overview of what you need if you take the Arbonne product, but you do not know what the individual needs. How do you know if somebody lacks vitamins or iron or magnesium? Just as an example, because that's what I take care of in my personal life, or protein. How do you know if somebody's diet isn't perfect when it comes to the protein intake? Then they don't need a protein powder with vitamins. Then they might just need the vitamins, or might want to try the vitamins, but that's not possible because you got to take the protein powder. So it's also overloading the system, overloading planet Earth by shilling products to people they don't need, which essentially creates waste. If you're lucky, you just have pricey pee and poo. If you're not lucky, you might even damage your body if you take ingredients you don't need.
Okay, so I love that about the company. And then when it comes to the business side, this is the part for me that sold me on the whole company, okay? Did I love all of those other product facts? Yes, that was important to me. But I needed to know, can I make money here? And is this going to be worth my time? And those two things are why I feel like the comp plan is so important. And if you want to get a good gauge on this, you can go to earnings.arbonne.com to see what's typical. You can see what's typical at every level. But for myself, I wanted to know, can I make money here? And is this going to be worth my time? And so when I heard the 4 levels of management, which range from, you can do this business and share a link here and there and be like, oh, cute, I love my face, and share a link. And if someone buys it, cool, you make $20, you make $50, you make $100. Great. You can work your business like that. You could be an affiliate. You can make a little bit extra money if you use the products and you love them and someone buys them and you make $20, $50, $100, $200, amazing. Or you can build this like a real business and you can see the value in building this over time.
You're not an affiliate though. You have to join as a network marketer in Arbonne and you have expenses. If you're an affiliate, you don't have expenses. So if you make $20 here or there, or $50 or $100, how high are your expenses? You might not profit. And that is already the dangerous entry level that she doesn't mention. You have expenses if you just want to shill the products here or there and maybe get a commission if you sell a product here or there. What are your expenses? You need to pay to play in Arbonne.
And that's where you're going to range from the $1,000 to $25,000 plus a month. And the reason there's such a massive range is because it's dependent on your structure, your sales volume, the business that you build. So no, does everyone make $25,000 a month? No, because most people don't build a real business. Most people share it with a couple people, go, I guess this isn't for me, and they flop out and they never share again. So of course, no, the majority doesn't make that. But it doesn't mean it's not possible. It's 100% possible for you to go make that amount of money if you want to build your business to the level that's required to make that money. And you have the choice to do that. Just like I talked about in the beginning, choices, you have the choice. So you can come in and make a little bit, you can come in and make a lot. That's your choice.
How do you build, though, that structure? And how do you get those sales? Maybe she will explain it.
Of what you want to do and how you want to build this business. Okay? So the level that really stuck out to me was an area manager. So again, there's 4 levels. There's a district, area, region, and nation. You promote through the 4 levels depending on sales volume. So you do more sales, you're going to promote through the levels, you're going to get paid more. That's just how it works, okay? So the second level is an area manager. What I loved about this.
How do you get to those levels with the sales volume required, though? Can you do that all by yourself? Or maybe do you need to recruit a lot of people?
What I loved about this level is your business becomes willable. So what does that mean? If something ever happens to me, because let's just use me as an example, I built my business beyond area manager. So if I died tomorrow, it's literally in my will who would take over my business, who would collect my paychecks, and when my kids turn 18, they would be whatever. It's all written out. So the cool thing about that is you could will it down to your partner, your kids, an organization that you care about. You can will your business down to whoever you care about. What job, most people, do you have where they would continue to pay your family if something happened to you? With Arbonne, my paychecks would continue to be passed down to whoever I build my business to. They're not going anywhere. They don't just I'm just gone and done and oh, whoop-de-doo, Arbonne gets to collect the money now. No, I get to will my business down to someone to take over that. And then that money can still fund my family. That's iconic. I love that. And that made me think about my business in thinking about it as an asset. Like thinking about it as something I'm building over time. Not just like, oh, I can build my business and like, cool, I'm going to make some extra money. And oh, if I don't win the lottery and get rich tomorrow, like I'm giving this up. No, I was like, think about this business for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, what you could build. And the average timeline to go to the top of the company is 5 years. So it's like for me, when I started 7 years ago, I looked at the fact that I had just completed university and I had committed 5 years of my life to getting that degree. To what? Guarantee me like 75 to 100K a year. At the time, that was a good income. So the way I looked at it was like, okay, if the average timeline to go to the top of this company is 5 years and the average income at the time was $25,000 a month, that's what it said on the paper, I was like, and I just went to university for 5 years to guarantee myself this 75 to 100K a year job, which I could make more, but at the time, like that seemed really great for me. I was like, why couldn't I commit? Hey, Queen. Hi, Victoria. Why couldn't I commit another 5 years of my life to building this business that's going to make me $25,000 a month? So I don't even know what that is a year, like 250K or something more than that. More than that, like what, closer to 300K, whatever. I was like, if that's the average is 5 years, earnings.arbonne.com again for what's typical, and the average earner is 25K a month, okay? My brain immediately did that math and was like, you spent 5 years going to university for 75 to 100K. I knew I'd make like 150 eventually or beyond, but like, you know. And then I was like, or I could build this business from home with my kids, which is what I wanted, for 5 years and make an average of 300K a year. It seemed like a no-brainer. I was like, I've already done this before. I've already committed 5 years towards something that I'm literally ready to completely pass up. So why not commit my next 5 years of my life to this thing that's going to give me the life that I actually want?
Because those numbers from Arbonne are not set in stone. And she has to mention, go to earnings.arbonne.com, blah, blah, because it's legally required. And I'm glad she actually does it. A lot of people don't do it, but why not just show us or tell us, she's on a live here, how much people actually make at the individual ranks? I guess because it's not that attractive. You could make 25,000 at a certain rank at a certain time in Arbonne in Canada, but that is not set in stone. There's a range, and you might make more some month, you might make less some month, you might never reach the top rank, because how do you rank up? By recruiting people. That is the essential part also in Arbonne. Now, Arbonne is always very clear, and it's very important for them. You do not get paid because you recruit a person. The person needs to purchase. So that's how they get around. You need to sell them on certain products. But what she does is sales, but it's not a sales-based job based on her own effort. She was able to rank up to the national vice president, and 0.6% of people are at that rank, and those are the people with the biggest teams. Area manager is the third rank. Only 5.2% of people are at that rank. Most people are at the lowest rank, and they make very, very little. When we take a look at the median annual earnings, this is Arbonne Canada, most people make 185 median annual earnings at that rank. And 75.4% of people are at that rank. Those people will end up in debt. And then the district managers make annually $2,887. That is 17.1% of people who are at that rank. And in 2024, a typical Arbonne participant in Canada earned between $0 and $324 in commissions and override. The numbers are apparently so bad that Arbonne cannot give us a specific number, they need to give us a range. The rank she spoke about before that according to her was such a life changer is the area manager with a 15,000 median annual earnings. It sounds nice at the surface that you can start an Arbonne business, which is not your business. You sell and you recruit, and then when you pass away, which hopefully doesn't happen, your family is safe and secure because they are able to benefit. You can set up somebody maybe to take care of that account, wiring of the money, and your children are safe and secure. But let's be honest here, that's not how it works. If she died tomorrow, which I hope doesn't happen, but to use her example, if she died tomorrow, her children wouldn't be safe because she doesn't have somebody in place who is running her business. that is actually based on sales, a family business, or a business she herself established, and then she can hand it down to her children. Because she has product, she has a strategy, she has a service, she has employees she pays, and then years later, the children could take over. What she does is she sells in a network marketing company and she recruits people, and she needs to regularly replenish the people who fall off. If somebody joins somebody else in a network marketing company and then that person is suddenly not in the company anymore, how likely is it that the others will just stay there? So you have somebody who's a replacement for you, but that person doesn't work actively in Arbonne, then people will drop off. So whoever is your stand-in, whoever is your replacement, will have to actively sell, promote, recruit, or you do not give anything to your children because it will fizzle out. People might want to change within the company because they don't like the replacement of you, or if nobody is running this Arbonne business, then people will fall off as well. She has to post a lot. She has to speak about this a lot. Opportunity calls, team calls. She posts regularly on social media. She is kind of obsessed with, I'm flying in business class. This is first class trips. And thanks to my Arbonne business, all of these things need to be done regularly. If she doesn't do Arbonne anymore for whatever reason, her children might get a paycheck, or she might get a paycheck, but that one will get smaller and smaller and smaller. You cannot just lean back and the products will miraculously sell themselves and the people will stay on your team. They will fall off. So you don't have a lot to inherit. I think that should also be mentioned, although she claims that there are so many perks with her making area manager. You need to actively run this. Otherwise, you will not see an income.
And the question that the girl asked me, she said, look, if you keep doing what you're doing today, where is your life going to be in 5 years? And are you okay with that? And I was sitting in my parents' basement suite. Some of you guys know my story. I was actually sitting out the side of it. And I was like, okay, 5 years. Well, I finished university and that was 5 years. But like, I've been doing my business for like, I just started my new business for a year, but I was working in government, corporate IT, whatever. And I looked at that and I was like, okay, I've been doing that for 2.5 years. And if I think about 2.5 years from now, no, like there's no way I'm going to be where I want to in life. And so like the only option is to make a change. And I was like, but if I look at my 5 years from now, if I start this business with Arbonne and lean into that, like, where could my life be in 5 years? And I went, well, I could be a national vice president. Okay, what does that look like? Okay, if I'm making $25,000 a month, and this is something that I think is really important to talk about and ask yourself, because I had to start dreaming in order for me to feel like this was worth my time. I had to look at it and go, okay, if I was making $25,000 a month, what would my dream life look like? What would I be doing? How would I spend my time? What would I, like, who would I be? And what would that money give me? What would it provide myself, my family, my kids, my husband at the time? Like, what would that give me? And I was able to be like, well, I'd be able to buy a house and I'd be able to keep, staying home with the kids, and I would be able to be a present mom. And I wouldn't have to go back to a job that I don't actually like or want to go back to. And I knew it was going to give me the life that I wanted. And so I just sat there and I went, how can I not try this freaking protein powder and see if I love it, again, I share it and magically I'm somehow successful. Like, I'm going to be so glad I took that chance versus never taking the chance and always wondering 5-10 years from now being like, remember that Arbonne thing? Like, what if I would have tried it? What if I would have tried it? I wonder if it would have been worth it.
But most people will not have to wonder if it's worth it for them if only currently 0.6% in Arbonne in Canada are at the highest rank. So you can wish, you can dream for all of these things, and magically a protein powder will provide you with this huge success. It doesn't become reality for most people. And when you have a corporate job or a government job, you get paid. You guaranteed get paid. You have an income. Congratulations. But this is built on wishful thinking and hopes and not hard work. Yeah, you need to do something and you need to work around the clock. you can never really rest. But you have no guarantee that you make it. And if only 0.6% currently are at the top rank, then there is something wrong with that system. Because reality at some point kicks in and your paychecks will tank, as I think it does also in Arbonne, because most people are not at the top rank. And the top rank people made $158,000 median annual earnings. The top person in Arbonne, national vice president, made $330,000. But the one with the least income in 24 made $98,000. So there's also a range. Just because you're able to make a certain amount of money in 1 year doesn't mean that that will repeat itself. And she doesn't base what she does here on sales of products. She recruited a big team, and those people put in the time and the effort so that she can benefit. It's about team building.
And that was enough for me to be like, I'm trying it. I don't care. I'm going to go all in because there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't love the products, if you don't love it, if you feel like it's not for you in the next 90 days, like you can return everything and be like, hey, you know what? I tried it and it's just not for me. And that's okay. Like Arbonne is not going to be for everybody. And not everyone's going to be successful. Most people won't be successful because most people aren't successful in life. That's just a true fact. Most people are going to try something, they're going to quit. Most people are quitters. Most people don't push through their comfort zones. Most people don't keep going when things get hard.
But that's not why most people are not successful financially speaking in MLMs. It's because the system is designed for most people to financially fail so that the few people at the top and the corporate side are able to make a profit. It's not about effort. It's not about sitting it out or doing it long enough or not quitting. It's a system that was built like this. It's not the case if you run your own company or if you have a regular shift job or a corporate job. The system in network marketing was built so that most people fail. It is mathematically and statistically impossible for everybody to be at the top ranks. And in a corporate job, for example, everybody gets paid. You might not be happy with your pay, but you will not end up in debt when you make a certain amount annually that is guaranteed. Whereas here you can hustle and bustle, do all you want, buy all the products, buy all of the non-grainy vegan protein powder, and your upline makes a lot of money because you purchase a lot. But if you don't make a profit, this is not a profitable business for you and you have those expenses on those pricey products. Most people in Arbonne will fail financially, and their own income disclosure for Arbonne 2024 shows that as well. Because they're all quitters? All of the people at the lowest ranks are quitters? Is that the case? I always find that hard to believe if we put logic behind that.
Most people don't want to push themselves out of their comfort zone and go beyond the things that they're used to. That's most people. But if you know that you know how to work hard, you know how to stay dedicated and committed to something, you know that when you are passionate about something, you're going to go all in on it. You know that you could do this and share it, and like you already love Arbonne maybe, and you're like, okay, if I just share this with other people and I make somebody awesome, then like you could be successful in this. And so that's just what I wanted to share tonight, was a little bit about my story, a little bit about my business, and why I personally decided to say yes. The dog is barking like crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Yeah, your dog is also not happy that you're gaslighting your downline, pretending you're the one who put in the work and that's why you're successful in Arbonne, and the other people who don't achieve that are not. That is gaslighting. I would leave. If that was my upline, I'd be like, I'm out. Sayonara.
But it is like so loud. But that's just me personally. That's why I decided to say yes. That's why I decided to do this business. That was 7 years ago. And now, you guys, what's freaking nuts is like, yes, I've gone national vice president, but I've also helped 5 others direct to me go national vice president. We have more that are going into qualification this month. And I'm pretty sure we're at like 25 MVPs or something. Maybe that's a stretch. Maybe I'm thinking 25 because I know by the end of this year we'll have 25, but there's at least 15 people that I've helped go to the top of this company in the last 7 years within my organization. And I feel like that's important because a lot of people think like, oh, it's only the person at the top makes money. That's not true. You have an equal opportunity to make as much money or as little money as you want based on the business you decide to build.
Yeah, but she is pushing the people who are at the top rank or at the top ranks, the regional vice presidents at the second highest rank and the national vice president. Over 7 years, you were only able to help, what was it, 15, 16, 25 people to the 2 top ranks. How many people were in your organization over the past 7 years? And why are you pointing out the top people when it's not true that just the top people are able to profit. Point out what most people in your company, in your organization are at. How many people did you have in your organization, aka your downline? How much do those people make on average? Where are the people located within Arbonne in your organization? Point these out if it's not just about the top people. If it's not just the top people who make a profit who are able to benefit, point out the others. Why are we not doing that? I think you know the answer.
Depending on the level you get to. And I know Victoria was in here earlier, and it's an uncapped income. That means that if you want to keep going way beyond what other people have done, you can. You can break records. You can grow a bigger business than anybody else ever has. Like, that potential is open for you if that's what you want to do here. Doesn't mean you have to, but it is open to you if that's something that inspires you or motivates you and all of that. So
you don't have to. Well, most people cannot. It's that simple. Just because you have the option doesn't mean that it's realistic and that it will happen. Just because your income might not be capped doesn't mean that it will be realistic and it will happen for you. Because why is she not retired yet? Why does she cap her income to the degree that she still has to push Arbonne? Why didn't she make 150 million in her first 5 years? If it's uncapped, just do it. I mean, put in the effort, get in the team, make the sales, and then leave. Should have been that easy. So why is she not doing that? And why is she now more on social media promoting Arbonne? She could have done that before. Make the millions, invest them well, and then leave Arbonne. But we didn't do that. Why not? Just put in the effort. Really, it's uncapped. You can do it.
With that, I just want to say, like, I often don't really talk about my business, but even the VP level, you guys, like, an average earning there is between $5,000 and $15,000 a month. There's over like 55 people on our team that have joined and started within the last 7 years who have gotten there. And there's thousands of people that have started, obviously, but that's where I say, like, yeah, the majority won't, but it doesn't mean you can't. It just means, like, are you going to be the person who actually does this for real and builds this to something and sticks with it long enough to see the results? Because a lot of the time, like, it is going to take 5 years for things to come to fruition. So, like, can you commit long term and give up your instant gratification to see the value 5 years from now? That's what's important. So
also important is the few people that she was able to help out of potentially thousands of people who were on her team. Are they still at those highest ranks? Is it sustainable? Maybe that would also be interesting to understand. You have a few people who you help to the top, although it's not about those. It's not just them making money, but are they still there? Is it sustainable in 2025 when we pitch this to an audience in 2025 and alleging 7 years ago I was successful? I successfully started this thing and I am at the top rank, and now you can do it as well. What's the track record of the team? Yet again, more insights would be helpful.
So with that, again, check earnings.arbonne.com for what's typical, but literally it's if you spend $250 on product this month, you can sign up for free.
Just tell us what is typical though. If you spent $250 the month you recorded the live, you don't have to pay the sign-up fee. Most people in Arbonne, Canada made $185 median annual earnings. Those people already end up in debt if they purchase products worth $250. Shut up.
It doesn't even cost you anything to start your business. Like, buy some product, make sure you love it. You can get a free gift. You can get another consultant gift.
Make sure you love the products. You have to love them, whether you love them or you don't. And if you don't love these products, purchase other products because you need to love them or pretend you love them to sell them.
You can sign up and start your business for literally free this month if you grab $250 worth of product. If you don't want to grab $250 worth of product, you can sign up and grab a free product with your sign-up order.
But you don't sign up for Arbonne for free. If you purchase products worth $250, you still pay $250.
But, like, so freaking worth it. Like, grab some protein, grab some fizz, see if you like the freaking hair care. And if you're a yes, like, go start your business. And if you want to have a proper full conversation about this, message me in my DMs. I'm always checking to see if there's people who want to chat, and just know that it was the best decision I ever made. And I really feel, even 7 years later, that I'm like, my fire to still share this with people and give this to people as an opportunity that exists, especially in a time right now. It's not about, like, making a bunch of money and, like, getting rich. It's about the fact that it can give you the lifestyle you're wanting. So, like, giving you the stress of not having to work all day, getting to put in like an hour and be with your kids, like getting to build it around the life you want to live. If you want to travel, if you want to be home with your babies, if you want to homeschool, if you don't want to homeschool, if you want to go pursue having a coffee cart and then also having this be the thing that funds that. Like, you get to design and build your Arbonne business to give you the life that you want.
It is about money. And Arbonne's track record is bad when it comes to money.
And that's the beauty of it. If you want more family time, utilize this to give you that. And just know that network marketing is a profession. You can treat this and be a professional. If you want to go look more into network marketing, I highly recommend The 4-Year Career. It's an hour on Audible. I listened to that the night that I signed up for this business. And once I listened to that book, I was like, I get it. And I'm in. I am committing for the next 5 years of my life to building this business and I'm going to see where I go. Did I go faster than the average of 5 years? Yes. But I knew I saw this long term, and that's why I'm still here. So that's that. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here. And again, if you have questions, just message me. I would love to share more with you about just my life, my journey. And again, earnings.arbonne.com for what's typical. But you get to build this based on you. So if you're not typical, then don't worry about what's typical and just go build this to the best of your ability for you. Okay. Bye guys. Have a good night.
And I guess that's how we have to spin it. If you're not typical, then don't worry about those typical earnings where most people lose money. But ignore that because you're not like them. You're not typical, right? I would like to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. These pitches are so extremely predatory and bad. And she comes out of the woodwork again 7 years into her Arbonne business. I wonder why. Maybe because the other courses and the other avenues that you wanted to follow, they didn't work out for her, and now she needs to shill Arbonne more. Because the top people also at some point recognize that their paychecks are tanking. The people at the bottom and in the middle of the pyramid in MLMs, they recognize that earlier, but at some point it also hits the top people. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on further uploads. And if you liked this video, then hopefully I will see you in my next one. Until then, tschüss!